Welcome to Online WHS. More than just a safety system, it's your complete integrated management system. Let me take you through some of the features of Online WHS and why you should be using this system. Firstly, it has over 40 different modules, all interlinking to create one complete management system. Whether you're a 2-man band or a 2,000-man band, every single customer gets every single register because they all interlink through each process. For an example, if you undertake a checklist, you can relate a checklist to a plant item, to a safe work method, to a chemical, to a contractor, to an employee, to a policy, to a decision, to all these different sections inside the system. When a checklist is completed, it automatically populates every other area as well. Great way to show compliance. 2 is that the system is hierarchical structured. The beauty about this, especially if you're multi-sites or multi-departments, that any documentation related to what's called your global site, which is usually your company name or head office, can be seen through every single sub-site. You can have as many sub-sites as you wish. If this site up here was a council, then this site here could be Parks and Gardens. Document safe work methods and employees related to this site is not seen by these other sites. So if this council has a childcare centre, they can actually manage this all underneath this umbrella over here. So you can have as many sub-sites as you wish, and even the sub-sites become their own entity. This makes this system extremely powerful. Another great feature of this system is imagine having a system that automatically teaches you how to use it. By selecting the WHS helper, the system will open up a help guide for every single register and every single form within the system. And once selected, it will actually highlight all the fields that you need to select and enter to complete that form. It doesn't get much easier than that. The system even has a training course for each permission level inside the system. So there are 3 major permission levels. There's an admin user, a management permission level, and an employee. The management permission level is usually on that second tier of the hierarchical structure, whereas the admin would be at the top. They're seeing everything relating to every single site. And the management site is only seeing data related to their site, and a manager can be related to more than one site if they wanted to, so they would see all the sites that they're related to only. An employee permission level has a different view. They've got access to the registers and to certain forms, but limited access, so they can't delete things or edit things. But every single employee also has what's called their to-do list, so they can actually do things assigned to them by just selecting one register. The system is also responsive, so it is a web page, so it will actually fold to any device, whether you're using a phone, an iPad, laptop or computer. We do have offline capability coming later this year and probably released early January. One of the big features of the system though is it has QR codes for literally every single process within the system. So you can log an incident, log a hazard, complete a checklist, access plant items and undertake all these different items here, all by scanning a QR code. And the big thing is, you don't even have to enter a username and password. So if you scan that QR code, it will bring up this checklist on your mobile phone straight away, where you can actually complete it easily and effectively. As mentioned before, every single person has their to-do list and communication list. An admin user, a management permission level or an employee permission level, and it will go into their to-do list, and you can set email alerts up to alert you that it hasn't been done. So let's go through some of the major features of Online WHS that makes it a must-have. The qualification manager and training needs analysis. So you can enter employees inside the system and you can add all their qualifications. You can add as many qualifications as you wish. You can even upload their certificate and put an alert date and expiry date. And the system will automatically create a qualification matrix. It will highlight if people are due on the alert date or expired on the expiry date, but it'll also highlight yellow if you've assigned a certain position in the system to have a certain qualification, and if that person's been assigned a position and they don't have those qualifications, it'll automatically do a training needs analysis. The checklist builder. Checklists are a fundamental part of compliance and safety, and here you can actually customize your own checklist inside the system. You can relate the checklist to sites, activities, machines, chemicals, compliances, policies, employees, contractors, as mentioned, literally everything inside the system. So you're doing this checklist relating to this activity, relating to this machine, for this compliance, and relating to this policy. It will save it not only in the checklist log, it will save it in every other register as well, as mentioned before. So imagine creating a pre-start checklist and putting it on your truck, but you can even put it on the truck's keyring. So the QR codes are very powerful, and once you scan it, remembering you can make it public. Public means that when they scan it, automatically bring up a form on their mobile phone, and they don't even have to enter a username or password. The system also has a plant and equipment register. For every plant item placed into this register, it will automatically create an individual QR code, even with the name of the plant item on it. You can place that on a forklift for an example, and what that will do, it'll actually bring up all the information of that forklift, plus any checklist or safe work method statement that you've related to that plant item, and the incident and hazard form, and also a maintenance request form. It also highlights a log to show all maintenance dates, but also every single time that pre-start checklist or any checklist has been done relating to that plant item. Incident register with reports. The online incident module allows you to log incidents easily via a QR code. It will automatically email alert the incident to anyone that's been set up to receive an alert immediately. You can then undertake the investigation and develop corrective measures to reduce the likelihood of the incident reoccurring. Once you've actually developed your corrective measures, you can set actions for your employees to implement those corrective measures, and by a due date. And if they haven't completed it by a due date, you can also receive email alerts to let you know that they haven't done it. The system uses a color combination. So red, an incident's been logged; orange, it's been investigated; green, the corrective measures have been developed and actions have been completed. Blue means no investigation was needed. And the system will develop detailed reports and statistics that you can drill down even further. You can also export all the information into either a CSV or Excel spreadsheet. And the same is for the hazard management. The system automatically creates a QR code, but you can log in and obviously log an incident or log a hazard. But you can log that, then assess it, develop your control measures, and assign actions to implement those control measures by a due date. But once again, once that hazard is actually logged, you can set email alerts to automatically alert you immediately that a hazard's been logged. It will go into the system as red. You can assess it, it will go orange. And then when you develop a control measure and update the actions, it will go green. And again, it develops detailed reports. The Audit Builder. The Audit Builder is a great way for you to actually show compliance, but also for companies wanting to reach ISO accreditations or some kind of accreditation. You can build your own audit inside the system, and then the great thing about this feature is that you can actually relate your documents throughout your system to that element item. So it's literally going, I'm meeting this element item because I'm doing this policy relating to this checklist, we've done this induction, etc. The online e-learning module. Here you can create your own online e-learning modules, and as many as you wish. And you can undertake them as many times as you wish as well. You can assign inductions and training modules to employees or a position or a qualification or individual site within your system. You can even also relate the online e-learning modules to contractors. All records are kept in the employee's individual record. So once an induction is actually built inside the system, and it's very easy and effective, you can actually enter text, you can upload slides, but you can also embed a video. Once you've actually built your induction, it will go into the induction matrix where you can assign it out to your employees as mentioned by individuals or by position, qualifications, or even sites. Once they've completed it, it'll go blue. When it's assigned, it'll be orange. When it's overdue, it'll go red. And again, you can print out detailed reports on who's completed their inductions. The employee can also take the induction by scanning a QR code. So imagine having an e-learning module that you've developed on how to use a certain machine, and then placing that QR code on the machine so the employee can scan that to see the safe working practices of doing either a pre-start checklist or what PPE they have to wear before they actually use that machine. The maintenance manager. The system allows you to develop your own maintenance request form for a site or a location or an individual plant item. So you actually create your list of requests and it automatically creates a QR code. Again, you can make the QR code public. Once you scan that QR code, it'll bring up that maintenance request on the person's mobile phone, and when they enter their request, it'll automatically go into the maintenance register and email alert you straight away that maintenance has been logged. You can then assign that out to an individual employee or a contractor in your system. Another great thing about this is you can actually even enter the costs of maintenance in here and produce a report to highlight exactly where all your maintenance costs are coming from. Contractor management. Many companies use contractors in one way or another to either undertake work at their site for maintenance or in-house issues, or they're hiring a contractor to undertake work for you at a given site. Managing these contractors and your duty of care can be extremely time consuming. That's where Online WHS can help. The Online WHS contractor module can help you manage your contractors' qualifications, their employees, their subcontractors, the safe work method statements and policies, but most of all their insurances, workers' compensation, public liability and other insurances as well. You can even set the system to automatically alert the contractor that their insurances or qualifications are expiring. And they click on the link and they quickly go to their 4-step portal where they can actually update their own details quickly and effectively. And if they haven't done it, you can set email alerts to alert you that they haven't. You can also induct them into the site by assigning an induction that you've actually built in the induction builder. So they can actually undertake an induction before they come to the site, or again you can print out that induction as a QR code and place it at the front entrance point. The meeting builder. Here you can actually do general meetings, WHS meetings, toolbox talks, all those different types of meetings that you're having on a regular basis, but now recorded. The great thing about this feature, you can build your own meetings, and once you've actually built it, it opens up a template where you can enter the minutes of the meeting immediately. And out of every meeting, you've got actions that need to be undertaken. So you can assign actions, as many actions as you wish. It'll email alert that person, it'll put it in that person's to-do list, it'll put it into the action register. Always making people accountable. The action register itself is literally linked to all the major features inside the system to close off something that's outstanding. So when a hazard is logged and you develop the control measure, you can actually assign actions for people to actually implement those control measures. When you actually do the corrective measures for the incident, again you can assign actions to implement those. And as we just mentioned, you can also assign actions from your meetings. And one of the things inside the system, when you're actually doing the checklist, and if you select no, it will automatically bring up an action, a hazard or maintenance. So you can actually log an action when you're completing that checklist. The alert register. You can set up alerts for every single register and process within the system, and it'll email alert the person. You can even escalate that alert if it hasn't been completed by a due date, and you can assign the alert to more than one person. The alerts are a great feature because you can also assign the alerts to individual sites within your system. Safe Work Method Register. The system has a Safe Work Method Register. Activities are literally related throughout the system, but this feature here also creates a QR code for the activity and also the Safe Work Method statement. You can even print out a QR code for the entire registry if you wish. We actually do have a Safe Work Method Builder coming shortly in October 2021. The Chemical Register. So now you can enter your chemicals inside the system. You can undertake a risk assessment if you wish. The system will create a QR code for the individual chemical, but also create a QR code for the entire site register of the chemicals related to a certain site or certain area. So you could place that QR code on the storage area or at the front of your site for hazmat purposes. But again, you can actually place it on the individual chemical as well. The Employee ID card with vaccination section. In this latest world, online WHS is trying to keep up, making sure that all our clients and users of the system are up to date with as much information to help them actually go through these kind of processes. We've now created a new Employee ID card, complete with the vaccination section. The vaccination section is non-mandatory. You do not have to use it if you do not want to, but it's going to be a great feature. You can enter as many vaccinations. It works very similar to the qualification section, and it will create a matrix. The system also creates an individual employee ID card. And if you scan that QR code, it'll bring up all the person's details, emergency contacts, their qualifications, the inductions they completed, but also if you've entered vaccinations inside the system, their vaccinations. You can even have the QR code on a name badge. The system also has a sign-on site feature, where you can actually place the QR code for a site at the front reception, and once scanned, the person enters their mobile phone number. It will recognize them if they've been there before. It will ask them some COVID questions, but you can bypass those questions, especially if you're in New South Wales, and it'll automatically bring up the cog. And then they can sign out, and it's all recorded into the visitor register with time in, time out, whether they're employee, visitor or contractor. The new employee ID card with sign-on site. This is an exciting feature. A little bit different than the employee ID card, whereas this card is actually coded. So the card itself has a code inside it. We relate that to the employee inside the system, then we print out the ID card. So we supply you with these cards, and this card, all they need to do is tap it on the pad, and it will automatically record all the information inside the system. It will even alert the manager or supervisor to highlight a person actually hasn't got a certain qualification or hasn't been vaccinated, if you want to set it like that, or their inductions that need to be updated. And the same thing is done for contractors. Your data is hosted in Australia. So it's located in Sydney and backed up mirror served to the other side of Australia. It's an all government server, it's ISO accredited 27001. So you know that your data is safe and secure. Well, I hope you enjoyed that presentation. That just highlights some of the great features of online WHS and why you should be using the system. If you would like to book a demonstration, just go to our website whssystems.com.au and select book on a demonstration. Thank you very much.